Hello, guys. There's 2 more lives left for me before I take a month off. In June, I will not be streaming or posting or tweeting or going on Instagram or responding to any messages. The whole of month of June, I will be focusing on my website and taking a break. Just to let you know. So I thought this live stream, let's make it pretty intense and talk about psychology. And why a lot of people can't comprehend my message. It's cognitive dissonance. And it's something I wrote about early in my book before I even got into being the illusion. So I'm going to break it down for you and what it represents. Yes, Valley, I'm taking a month off from YouTube, from Twitter, from Instagram. The reality is this: I put out so much work every day. I have for 3 years. People take me for granted. They're going to realize when I take a break for a month that they're going to miss me and that the work that I put is so profound. And if they want to access it, they can go on my website. If they don't have $10, then I really can't comprehend how they can't afford $10 a month in a Western country. So that's the reality. When you give everybody everything for free, then that's what they expect. So I'm going to stop doing it. I need a break as well. I've gone 3 years straight, 7 days a week. And I've got to a point where it's like my work's getting better and I'm getting less recognition for it. So maybe the month when I'm gone, more people are going to start seeing things without me having to reveal it. They'll find it themselves. So that's my mindset behind it. And I deserve the break. I'm still doing my website every day. I won't take a break from that. But Svali, I do 3-4 hour live streams and get paid 99p. To get about 200 people watching. I ain't doing that anymore. So, hey Esteban, much love, Charlotte. Who have we got here? Red Knack Sealer 0211. Hey mate. Hello, Mia. See, I always smile when Mia's in the house. Mia, I'm going to talk about cognitive dissonance. This is something that's really important. It's to do with psychology, and I'm pretty sure you're interested in psychology. So let me break down what it actually is. Cognitive dissonance is the discomfort a person feels when their behavior does not align with their values or beliefs. We've all suffered from this. Cognitive dissonance, it's not a disease or an illness. It's a psychological phenomenon that can happen to anyone. And I've looked into Leon Festinger's concept in regards in cognitive dissonance, which he developed back in 1950, and I'll go over that. So I have these moments where, why don't people understand? How can't they comprehend this? It's undeniable work. Then I look into biblical scripture and cognitive dissonance and advanced psychology, and it makes complete sense as to why people can't see it. So all of us, we all think of ourselves in certain ways, don't we? We consider ourselves, for example, me, I consider myself to be truthful, hardworking, intelligent, health conscious, somewhat in control of my life. But my actions don't always line up with how I see myself. And then you have this cognitive dissonance. Especially the more I have got into the Bible and God, I'm like, and you look into sin and the 10 Commandments, and I'm like, wait, the Bible says I shouldn't be a prophet and predict the future, and that's what I'm doing with my work. And you're like, but I'm trying to lead people to God through that. And you have this cognitive dissonance trying to come to a conclusion, and it can lead to frustration. I think that's where I'm at now. I'm trying to do this work to benefit people, but then there's people accusing me of just promoting gambling, which is the devil, and I want to expose the devil by revealing the code of the sports. And it's like, yeah, are some people gamblers and they take my work and it influences them to gamble? Yeah, I think they would gamble anyway, with or without my codes. And on the other hand, I'm getting people email me daily. Your videos have changed my life. I don't watch sports anymore. I got rid of my television. All of this stuff. It's like, okay, so should I keep doing it? And then I'm at a crossroads with it all. And that's where I'm at right now. So maybe this month will clear my head a little bit. I'm hoping it does. If it doesn't, maybe I'll need longer than a month. So it can definitely cause this mental discomfort. It really can. And if you're not self-aware, cognitive dissonance, it can leave you acting and feeling pretty out of character. That's when people are like, you're not your usual self today, Adam. You're not your usual self today, Illusion. It's like, yeah, because I'm suffering from this cognitive dissonance, trying to figure out exactly who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing. I've certain, like I was saying to Kenya last night, I said, Kenya, do you think I think too highly of myself? Because I talk about I'm coding the universe, I see all of these numbers, I make all these revelations, and next to anybody appreciates them. Or maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. She went, no, baby, you are amazing, but it might be both. Maybe you actually think you're better than what you are, but you're still amazing. I was like, yeah, maybe it is that. I've just done this video about the NASCAR crash between 9 and 11 on lap 186. And there was exactly 18 years and 6 months between 9/11 and coronavirus being declared a global pandemic. I talked about it for 2.5 years, the 186, before anyone were talking about it. That's the reality. And then that happens. I put out that video, and I know I'm going to get about 300 views, guys. And I've told you, these guys putting on lipstick, getting millions of views. There's videos of people going into supermarkets and farting next to somebody that have millions of views. I'm coding our reality, our universe, showing you that we're in a spiritual war between God and the devil, trying to lead you in the direction of God. I can't lead you to God, just in the direction. And I'm getting 300 views and 25 likes. It kind of just makes me go, all right, I've seen it. I see the code. It's led me to God. I can make money with or without this. And the economy is going to crash soon anyway. So maybe the sooner I get over the whole issue with money and not obsessing over it, but allowing it to have such a major role in my life, which we all do, maybe the better. And then I can go on my journey, really focus on my journey, but then I think about you guys. I get people saying, you've saved my life, you've saved my marriage, you saved so much. And I'm like, oh, wow, geez. But then again, I'm giving so much time and energy and love to hundreds of people daily who I don't know, who are not really giving me anything back. And I know it shouldn't be about that, but it's exhausting. And now it's really taken a toll on my health. I'm going to put myself before everyone at this point now for this month. So learning what cognitive dissonance is, why it's so powerful, and how to manage it can put you back in the driver's seat of your life. But again, most people have never heard of the term cognitive dissonance. They just see, oh, he's having a good day today, a bad day, he's in a good mood, a bad mood. Don't actually question why. So it's when you have these two conflicting beliefs, which leads to a disconnection. And that disconnection leads to feeling uncomfortable. Many will drive to resolve it. Many people won't. That's why so many people in the world now are so confused, because they're lost. They've got this psychological tension, whether it's with their gender, with what job they're working, their relationships. They're lost. And that threatens our identity when we suffer from this, and your sense of self. Although I wrote about this in my book last night, your sense of self is very important, and self-love is very important, but your self-love should never be above your love for God. You get a lot of these motivational speakers and psychologists and therapists saying it's all about you and self-love. You can have anything you want if you truly want it and you love yourself. No, you need God in your life. And people are going to be forever lost until they find God. And that included myself. I thought I ticked every box in society. I was a lost soul who was doing well in the beast system, but I was lost because I didn't have God in my life. And that's the reality of it. How do I know all this knowledge now? How am I so articulate with the way I word everything? The Holy Spirit. the Holy Spirit. So back in 1956, there was a psychologist called Brent, and he observed that when people are given a choice between two similar items, they tend to believe that the item they chose is objectively better. So this is basically like when you vote. When you vote, you're voting between Biden and Trump. If you believe Trump is the better candidate, your cognitive dissonance will tell you that. Somebody thinks it's Biden, their cognitive dissonance will tell them it's Biden, but they know that maybe the messages are both very similar, and then they'll start arguing with other people who have a different belief. So the person that I studied was Leon Festinger. He presented the idea of cognitive dissonance, and he explained that in order to maintain our sense of identity, we're motivated to reduce inconsistencies in our self-image. So he literally came up with a theory of cognitive dissonance, and his research on what causes cognitive dissonance and how we react to it has become really critical in social psychology. So I'll give you a few examples. So if you think about the world we live in, it's not always black and white. I say the majority of the answers are in grey. And I say every single person living within the world is a hypocrite. It's literally impossible to not be a hypocrite in a backwards world. Again, I've wrote about this. My book will be out soon. It's almost impossible not to be a hypocrite. Again, like me, I don't want people gambling, but I'm putting out sports codes. But I'm not putting out the sports codes because I want people to gamble and win money. I'm wanting to put out the sports codes to reveal the code. And it's immensely frustrating at times. And then people say and accuse me of things that are so wrong. You promote gambling, you're just obsessed with money. It's all about your ego. It's like, I don't gamble. I'm taming my ego. And I don't want others to gamble. If I wanted to promote gambling, I'd have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people on my website easily if I wanted to just go all in on that and promote it. So let's think about cognitive dissonance when it comes to eating meat, for example. Let's say you love animals, which is the majority of the world, and think they should be treated well. Okay? But you eat meat daily for convenience, health, or other reasons. The uncomfortable feeling you get when you think about where your food came from is a well-documented example of cognitive dissonance. However, people will still eat meat because in this world, we put basically our joy, our thrills, our excitement above anything. The devil knows that. He is all about temptation, God's salvation. He knows that. So you'll have people preaching about how amazing animals are and how they shouldn't be mistreated. And they'll be giving you that speech whilst they're eating the double cheeseburger. And you're like, what? Wait, what? Do you know you're eating a cow right now? Why are you preaching? So then you get angry with that person. But deep down, that person will love and care about animals. But for whatever reason has grown up and become consumed or not obsessed, but enjoys eating meat. It's like the people who go to climate change protests and they'll drive 5 hours in the car to attend the protest. It's like, wait, you've just drove 5 hours. That's not good for the environment. Yet you're going to go preach about it? Or the people who are preaching about how kids should be getting more money in Africa for designing the clothes that are being sold for a ludicrous profit. And they're preaching in their Dolce & Gabbana suit. But maybe they generally do believe that those kids deserve more. So it's hard in this world. It's why so many of us constantly argue. We're always arguing and bickering, which is the divide and conquer tactics of the devil, because it's impossible not to be a hypocrite within this world. I tell people, well, money's not my main drive. I'll do everything for free then. If you don't care about money. No, I didn't say I don't care about money. I'm saying it's not my major drive as to why I do my work. I never said I don't care about money. I'm fully aware and intelligent enough to know that money has a major say on my life. But if you're going to tell me it's the main reason why I'm doing my work, I will tell you no, money is not the main factor why I'm doing it. So why don't you do everything for free then, mate? What? Are you not processing what I'm saying, brother? And then you start arguing and fighting each other. And that's exactly what the devil wants. When people have a certain thought in their mind, it's almost impossible to change it, especially if they're stubborn. That's why, like, for example, with Biden, the people who voted Biden will still be sticking up for Biden because it hurts their ego. They can't just say, yeah, what was I thinking? Why did I vote for this guy? They'll go, no, if you actually look, Biden did that, and he did more than Trump when you look at this area. And they'll keep going and pushing it to justify their action rather than saying, hey, yeah, what was I thinking? Because the ego is enormous in our life, guys. What about dieting, for example? How many people have come up to you and said, I'm going to go on a diet? All right. And they always break it. They always cheat. So you mentally, psychologically, you truly want to improve your health. You do want to reduce calories, but you can't suddenly not just like chocolate or love your ice cream. All right. So if you're on a diet and you're munching on your chocolate cake, boom, dissonance appears. Then you feel guilty for eating the cake, which is supposed to be a pleasurable experience. Just like maybe it's alcohol for people. I'm not going to drink for the whole month. It's always a month, isn't it? It's never like a week or 21 days or what. I'm going to go the whole month. I'm not going to drink. I've done it with this. I ain't going to post for a month. I don't know why it has to be a month, but it's something psychological about that. All right. The reason I've said that is because if I don't say it, then I will post. Something's going to happen tomorrow. There'll be a major event. I'll do a live stream for you, get my 25 likes, and then get exhausted at the end of it, and then go again the day after. So for me personally, I had to type it for you to see, because I know if I do go live in June, I'm going to get people saying, Illusion is not a man of his word. This guy's addicted. Like he said he was going to do that and he didn't. I told you the guy's a fraud. So I've typed it. I'm like, I won't go live for a month. I won't. But I needed that because a part of the ego within me is to say, hey, I said a month and look how disciplined I am. If I didn't type that, I'm almost certain I wouldn't have stuck to it. If I just say it, hey, Kenya, I'm going to go a month without posting. All right, baby. It don't mean anything for me. It don't represent anything by me just saying it. It's just words. But when I type it and I let thousands of people know, then there you go. The challenge. I love to be challenged. Think about smoking. Every single person in the world who smokes is fully aware that it's bad for them. There isn't one person in the world that smokes and is oblivious to how it affects their health. They even tell you on the cigarette packet now. And they know they can do that because they know people who have severe addictions, the majority don't break them. So they can tell you that it can give you cancer and heart disease and all sorts. It doesn't matter because people put their joy above anything else. All right. That's why with gambling, they're putting the joy of gambling and the excitement and the possibility of winning money above the truth. And the truth is 1,000,000 times more important. Especially right now more than ever. So smoking, most people, if not everyone, knows that smoking is inarguably bad for their health. The uncomfortable feeling a person gets when they choose to smoke a cigarette is, of course, a form of cognitive dissonance. Does it stop them from smoking it? No. Does it stop them from having another one 15 minutes later? Oh, I shouldn't be doing this, but go on. Pass it here. Yeah, let's have it. Again, when you go on a night out, everyone's like, hey, do you want a shot? Nah, I'm good. I've had too much. Come on, have a shot, Edders. Go on, lad. Shot. All that nonsense. Go on then. And you're having it, and you've literally got that face. This is supposed to, again, be a pleasurable experience. You're having fun, all right? And you get this shot, and you're like, that was disgusting. Shall we get another one? Wait, what? What's going on in people's heads? Like, when you really break it down, you see everyone when they have a shot, they go, let's get another. What? So, again, the whole world we live in is set up not for mindfulness, for mindlessness. To not think. We are a nation, a world of workers, not thinkers. And anybody who breaks that pattern and becomes a critical thinker like me, oh my word, we get hammered. We get hammered by those who have not broke the spell. I get hammered every day by people when I'm trying to help them. They don't get who I am. So what causes cognitive dissonance? If a person finds themselves in a situation where they have to do something that they don't agree with, they'll experience discomfort. We've all been in those situations where we do something that we don't want to do. All right? Whether it's giving a presentation at school, you get that level of discomfort if you're not comfortable in front of a group of people talking, which is most people in the world. All right? Your coach says, hey, I know you're a striker, but I need you to fill in at right back today. What? That's not my position. You start to feel that discomfort. So, again, instead of thriving on the challenge, we do the opposite. I love that. I love thriving on the challenge. I love being out of my comfort zone. Most people don't. But you don't grow in your comfort zone. You grow outside of it. So, if you're in a situation where you literally can't escape the action, you then attempt to reestablish your reasons for doing it in a way that makes the action acceptable. Again, we've all done it. We've all done things that we know we shouldn't have done, but then we justify the action as acceptable. Oh, it's Friday night. We justify having that extra shot that we don't want. It's Friday night. I don't have to wake up in the morning for work. That don't mean you have to have that extra shot you don't want, though, does it? When we gamble, I won $1,000 last week. That means I can bet at least 1,000 this week because then I've not lost any money. You can justify yourself gambling. That's what most gamblers do. They win some money and they go, right, I've won 500. That means I've got 500 to play with. And when you have that mindset, you continually will lose money. That's how it works. It's why nearly everyone who gambles, they lose, man. They lose. I didn't. And I'm probably one of the very best in the world at coding games and seeing how they're playing out. And I won't gamble because I know what it does to myself and other people. And I won consistently, and I won't do it anymore. So you've got this induced compliance. One of the biggest issues with the world is compliance. I literally did a tweet because, a quote. I've got about 30 quotes in my book. Can't wait to release that. It'll be the best thing that I've ever done. And we're always blaming other people for the world. And pretty much why there's so much negativity is because we accept it. And we partake in it. So I said this, it's never the tyrants who commit atrocities. It's those who comply. And we just comply whether it was with this, whether it was with lockdowns, whether it's with whatever it may be. We comply and we accept evil in our life. And many people actually embrace evil in their life. They enjoy it because we enjoy sin. If sin wasn't so pleasurable, we wouldn't commit it so many times. So if a person finds themselves in a situation where they have to do something that they don't agree with, like I said, they'll experience discomfort. And we've all gone through that. So in the 1950s, there was a laboratory experiment on cognitive dissonance. Participants had to complete a series of boring tasks, which is most people's jobs. Again, we're a nation of workers. The Rockefellers funded the education system in 1903 to create a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers, to work in his factories. Genius from the Rockefellers. So they were then either given $1 or $20 to tell a person in the waiting room that the task was fun. The ones that received $1 were more likely to rate the activity highly. All right? If the task was boring, what motivated their attitude change? Their brain needed to create cognitive consistency. Remember, cognitive dissonance is all about inconsistency. Because the task wasn't validated by a sufficient monetary award, they made up an internal motivation that justified the lie. It's what we do. We justify lies. Again, I'm sorry to keep going back to politicians, but Trump will openly come out and say something on live TV. Then he'll deny saying it, and people will justify his lie because they voted for him. People justify lies. Especially if they've believed in them. If they've believed in the lie and then it comes out that it was actually a lie, they will still justify the lie. And that is a real issue with society. Justifying the lie. So think about decision making, which is crucial. I believe you have free will in regards to making decisions. Pretty much everything within the world. Certain occasions you're like, well, I didn't have a say in that. All right, for example, if somebody's raped, they didn't have a say in that, let's be honest. But in general in life, when it comes to decision making, you have to take responsibility for your decisions. And this is why so many people on my website or other people's Patreons or whatever it may be, they want to take other people's picks, because if it doesn't hit, they don't blame themselves, they will blame the coder. And that's the reality. They're not willing to invest in their own knowledge and their own decisions. They have to come to someone like me to tell them what I think. If it wins, okay, let's not thank him. If it misses, let's blame him instead of blaming ourselves. So I put this in my book last night. I went deep last night. I was up late on this book, so I need to get it done. Sometimes I feel as though I have a different set of eyes than almost everyone around me. This brings me, guys, both elation and frustration. And there's that cognitive dissonance again. My close friends and family can't see past the programming and conditioning they've been put through, no matter how absurd the ruling class behaves or what they dictate or what I reveal to them or what I predict. I suppose it's a condition of being human, guys, and living in society, which is a social construct. People can't see it objectively. So I put that in my book. Because it's like, why don't my mum understand? Why don't my dad understand? Why don't my best friend understand? Why didn't my students understand? Because they've not been programmed to be able to think critically and think outside of the box. So when somebody like me is calling out their worldview and the system in which they love, in which they've been a part of, especially if they're in the 70s or 80s, and someone like me saying, well, no, you actually live in a coded reality. Everything about this reality is coded. I mean, you're in a spiritual war, and there's no doubt about it. If you look at my work, they won't watch for longer than 2 minutes, so they're never going to appreciate what I do, whatever I show them. And then when it comes to the sports, if I'm not 100% every single month, which I never will be, although I've been close, 94, 92, which is wild, but let's forget about that. It's not enough, because I'll always be remembered for, oh, you said that. But you said that, didn't you? And that's the reality of it. That's why I'm like, do I have to do pre-codes? Is it actually having a detrimental effect on my message? Yeah. Because if I'm 90%, it's not enough. For the non-believer, that's not enough. That's 90%. It clearly shows that we don't live in a coded reality, because if it was as coded as you claim it is, you would be 100%. They can't read between the lines. It's black or white for most people. So I'm going to read this out to you, which I wrote in my book. I'm not going to give everything away here, but I'm going to read this out. Tell me if you agree. When Satan entered the Garden of Eden as a serpent, he used his craftiness to confuse Adam and Eve about their identity. So it comes as no shock that so many people right now in the world are confused in regards to their identity. All right, even their gender. Satan convinced Adam and Eve to eat from the tree of life, telling them, you will be like God. This is what black magic's all about. It's what the occult's all about, being your own God. You don't need God. You are your own God. Do as thou wilt. He was telling them to determine for themselves what is good and evil, right and wrong. And he's foisting this lie with great effect on the current generation. He has been for decades. All right. What's right or wrong is perception. It's nothing to do with the Bible. It's nothing to do with the 10 Commandments. All right. Be whoever you want to be. All right. And don't judge anybody else for who they want to be. That's Satanism. That's all of this equality nonsense. And equality is because Satan wanted to be equal to God. That's why they went to war in heaven, where Satan ultimately lost. Well, Lucifer lost, got cast out of heaven to earth, became Satan, which means adversary, adversary of God, adversary of the people of God, because we were created in his image. So the serpent literally convinced Adam and Eve to eat from the forbidden tree. They could have ate from anywhere else. All right, they had this great life. God said, hey, I'll give you all of this, but just don't eat from that tree. Satan was like, okay, I'm going to convince them. Did Satan force feed Adam and Eve? Did Satan force Adam and Eve to eat from the forbidden tree? Did he pin them down and put the fruit in their mouth? Or was he crafty and cunning and charming? Like your presidents, like your A-list celebrities like Dwayne Johnson. Think about it. Think how deep this is, how spiritual it all is. But again, if you're spiritually dead or spiritually numb, you can't acknowledge what I'm saying. Satan used trickery and deception to attack Adam and Eve's personal identity and relationship with God by causing them to doubt God's love for them, to question his word and will for their lives and their rights and privileges as children of God, to have dominion and power over all the earth with unlimited access to God, because they believe Satan's lies more than God's promises. Now tell me this, how many of us in the world believe Satan's lies above God's promises? How many of us are going to continually fall for propaganda? And it's the same propaganda every day. And people still fall for false prophets and false messiahs. Leaders leading us to destruction. Being idolized, people voting for them. At what point are people going to see how deep this is? Continually falling for Satan's lies. I've just done a post on Instagram. Tell me who Dua Lipa is. Look at it with a new set of eyes. Go on Instagram and tell me who Dua Lipa is. I can't say it here, but go there and you'll see who Dua Lipa is. And it ain't who you think she is. Is it? Is it? Look carefully. Look carefully. Study anatomy. Study anatomy and see who this person truly is. This is the devil's deception. Guys, girls who listen to this person, look. Just look. And I call this out because I have the Holy Spirit lit within me. You're just jealous. Why are you doing this? This person's nice. Great music. Look at that. How do I say, would I have seen that years ago? No. I wouldn't have even thought about it. Because I wasn't thinking about anything that was big. I was like thinking about how much money I'm going to make this month, where I'm going to go for dinner, and Man United going to win next week. That's about as much as I thought about. Am I going to get my lesson plans done in time? The devil loves to distract. He loves to divide, and there's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Adam and Eve disobeyed God and ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Guys, in this one act of disobedience, the fate of mankind was changed forever. So can we truly be shocked that the majority of the world refused to accept God when Adam and Eve didn't? And instead, consciously or unconsciously, which is the majority of the world, worship the devil. The majority of the world unconsciously worships the devil. A devil worshipper is not just somebody who's into Satanism and attends the church of Satan and truly detests God and his people. A Satanist is somebody who doesn't believe in God. That's Antichrist. Anti means against. If you don't believe in God, you're Antichrist and you're working for the devil. But you're unconsciously working for the devil through a lack of knowledge, through a lack of wisdom, through a lack of faith, through a lack of belief, through a lack of love. And that's the reality. You're unconsciously working for the devil. But I'm a good person. I pay my taxes. I've never killed anybody. How can you say that? Yeah, I can, because you're in love with the world, and this is Satan's realm. And you love it. You love your music concerts. You love going to your football game. All right? You love going out and getting drunk and smoking and vaping and taking your drugs or whatever it may be. Okay? Love putting up your devil horns, don't you? You might not intentionally be doing it, but you're doing it. All right? It's pretty much like manslaughter. You might not intentionally murder somebody. If you punch them and they die, you've killed them. It's manslaughter. It's not murder, but the person's dead. And like most people's souls are dead. And they are. Genesis 3:5, this sums it up. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. That's basically what the devil said to Adam and Eve. That they didn't need God, they would be their own gods. And these A-list celebrities are seen as gods. They're worshipped more than God. These celebrities like Ronaldo, Messi, Kanye West, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, they are worshipped as gods. When Harry Styles is coming out on the stage wearing his dress and his red high heels, the poor guy, all right, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of girls screaming, Harry, Harry, I love you. Idol worship. It's going on in stadiums every single day around the world. Whether it's pop concerts, whether it's a football game, a baseball game, a basketball game, idol worship, and nobody's worshiping God anymore, are they? They're worshiping people they don't know. The Bible warns us of that. But if you've never read the Bible, you're not aware of the warnings. It's like taking an exam that you've not studied for, that you've not covered the topics. Yet then acting like you know it all. And then you fail the exam and you still convince yourself that you know it all. That's the world we live in. It's backwards, it's reverse, because Satan does everything in reverse, which explains what's going on right now with people's genders. So our culture believes that who you are is determined by you alone. It's the me, me, me. Again, we bring out selfie sticks and it's all about me, me, me. You take a photograph, it's a group photo. Who's the first person you look for? It's yourself. All right? It's yourself. If you don't look like how you look in that photo, or that photo sucks. No, the photo's beautiful. You just don't look great. But the photo's actually a beautiful photo. Everyone else looks great, but you. No, it sucks because you're focusing on yourself. We focus on ourselves all the time. We're all guilty of it. But yes, we need self-love. We need to look after ourselves. We do. But you can't allow the love of yourself to be of that of your love of God. There would be no you without God. There would be none of this without God. So self-love is essential, but selfishness and putting yourself above God is a trap. It's the devil's trap. All right? Think how much Lucifer loved himself. He literally wanted to be on level with God because he was such an incredible angel. He was directly below God in heaven. And because of his ego, because of his pride, he got cast out. Why do you think? I've told you, I'm taking the whole month of June off. It's Pride Month. It's the 6th month. The devil's number. Pride Month has demon right in the center of it. The flag has 6 colors, not 7, like the rainbow. The rainbow flag has 6 colors. Why? Because it's spiritual, guys. And a lot of people support that whole movement. Again, they think they're doing it out of love and respect for their fellow man. They're spiritually lost. And there can be great people and nice people and caring people and loving people. Satan will take advantage of people who are too nice. If you're too nice, he'll walk all over you. That's what he does. There's a balance to it. You can't be foolish in this world or gullible. You get eaten alive. That's why I'm saying I ain't doing live streams for the whole month of June. You can look this stuff up yourself without me sitting here 2 or 3 hours every day, giving you it all for free. You've got to figure it out for yourself. So, again, my book's going to change people's lives. I know for a fact. All right? God alone is the Lord of all. His son, Jesus Christ, possesses all authority in heaven and on earth. And the only way to heaven is through Jesus Christ. So if you don't believe in Jesus, you ain't going to heaven. I don't care how nice you think you are. And if you don't believe in heaven, you most certainly ain't going to heaven, are you? You're not going to go to the place that you don't believe in. Mark my words. All right? Every earthly authority derives its power from him. Sooner you realize that, the better. Or you can continue to be distracted within this world of temptation. There's distraction on your phone, on your TV, with your job, whatever it may be. There's constant distraction. And what's it distracting you from? God. What's Sunday and Saturday all about? Watching sports, getting pissed. All right? It's not about connecting with God, is it? So we were made in God's image. It tells us that at the beginning of the Bible, Genesis. We are to be like God. No, not by creating our own identity, but by receiving the identity and reflecting the glory of the one who made us. There would be no illusion without God. There would be no Noel, no funny person, no Agent D, no Coca-Cola, no Dirk Zink. All right? There'd be no internet without God. And if you still think we're here because of a big bang and some accident, or you think all the codes that I'm doing are man-made or coincidences, then you've got a lot of work to do on your spirit. I ain't going to be here all the time, guys, to be doing this. Let's talk about decision-making in regards to cognitive dissonance. When we say yes to a choice, whether it's as small as what to order for lunch or as big as where to live or where to go on vacation or what job to apply for, we have to say no to something else. This can be a difficult decision when the choices feel equally good or equally bad. How many times have you gone to a restaurant and gone, oh, should I get lasagna, but the pizza's delicious? Oh, man, I don't know which one to do because I can't eat both. I'm not going to be able to eat both of them. And then you're actually like frustrated. What shall I do? Then maybe the girl next to you goes, how's about we share a pizza and lasagna? Oh, wow. Yeah, that'd be amazing. So there's definitely ways around that uncomfortable decision that you have to make, as long as you're around people who are open-minded and caring and have critical thinking skills. We've all done it, guys, where should I say yes? Should I say no? A girl might ask you out on a date or vice versa. Should I say yeah or no? I don't know because I like that about her, but I'm not sure about that. And maybe it's too soon after I broke up with my girlfriend. And your whole brain goes all over the place, just like butterflies going off. And you end up going against your gut feeling as well. The majority of us go against our gut feeling, which is your spirit. I believe your gut feeling is your spirit communicating with you, and we don't trust it. If you're going to tell me in the chat that you've never gone against your gut feeling, then you're a liar. As most of us go against it. I knew I shouldn't have done that. I knew I shouldn't have said that. I knew I shouldn't have ordered that. You knew? How can you tell me you knew and you ended up doing it? So what does that say about you? I knew that game was a trap, but you bet on the other team. You bet on that team, sorry. You bet on that team. Yeah, but I knew that they were going to lose. So why did you bet on them? What are you talking about? Listen what you're saying. You're telling me you knew that team was going to lose. Why did you bet on them to win? Oh, just shut up, Adam. Shut up. Okay. It seems like a pretty fair question. If you knew, then you wouldn't have bet on them to win, would you, mate? When they lost. So you didn't know. You didn't know. You thought you knew, or you had a gut feeling and you went against it because you don't trust your own judgment. So you want other people to make decisions for you. That's why you love your beloved governments, because they tell you what to do. Your teachers tell you what to do. Most people in the relationship, their other half tells them what to do. Their boss tells them what to do. And when they have to think about anything for themselves, they panic because they don't know how to do it, because they're not being programmed to learn how to do things for themselves. Basically grown babies, most adults. So to ease the psychological pain of rejecting one choice, think about FOMO. I've written about FOMO. It basically means fear of missing out. But if I do that, if I say yes to that, then I might miss out on that. What if I agree to go to this event and then somebody offers me to go to a better event? And now I'm like, oh, should never have said yes to that event. And then we feel too guilty to cancel and go to the other event. So I've told you, we always justify our decisions. When we do this by thinking up positives for our choice and negatives for the other option, it's called the spreading of the alternatives. Your brain feels better when you can align your behavior with your values. But what are people's values these days? Money, greed, ego, socioeconomic status, how many likes they have on Instagram? What are people's values? Accepting everything, literally accepting Satanism, because we're in a world where you should be whoever you want to be. That's where we're at. Lovers of flesh, lack spirit. Those who do have spirit like myself get judged for being crazy or conspiracy theorists, all right, or Bible bashers or attention seekers. No, I'm just not trapped in the matrix. So effort. As human beings, we place a higher value on outcomes that took a significant amount of time, effort, or resources to achieve. I've never agreed with that. It's about the quality of something, not how long you've done something. Again, it's like the people who might say to me, okay, you believed in God since 2022. That's nothing. I've been reading the Bible for the last 60 years. It doesn't mean you understand it. Just because you've done something longer or something's taken longer to complete doesn't mean that it's better. There's houses in Mexico where they're still working on the construction of these houses after 4 years. That ain't good. So why do people believe the longer something's gone on, the more effort's being put into that? It's a myth. In some ways, yeah, it's correct. In many ways, it's not. Again, it's finding the answer in the grey. That's why we tend to associate cost with quality, don't we? We always rationalize that. Well, you get what you pay for. What a load of shit. You get what you pay for, Edwards. What? No, you don't. You're getting $10 for my website when it could be easily $200 a month. It's not about you get what you pay for. You can pay over the odds for food that's disgusting. You get what you pay for. Really? when people are spending $400 on a pair of Jordans that cost $2 to make? You get what you pay for? Do you? No, you don't. It's a load of bullshit. And it's a lie. It's just a statement that's been engraved in people's minds. It doesn't make sense. Get what you pay for. Nothing's ever free. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Plenty of things are free. Plenty of people do good things for people for free. Nothing's ever free. I can't stand that saying either. Done plenty of things for people for free, not expecting anything in return, and never got anything in return. When the effort doesn't seem to be worth it, we often make up reasons why it was better than the alternative. All right, this process of effort justification validates the benefits of the choices we've made. Always trying to justify. Always trying to justify what we do. Oh, I went to McDonald's, but I got a Diet Coke. I went to McDonald's, there's lettuce in my burger. You're not realizing that poison you're putting in your body. You're going to justify it by drinking Diet Coke, which is actually worse than regular Coke. And that's what the devil does. He mocks you. Look into Diet Coke. It's just as bad, if not worse, as regular Coke. People justify, I'm drinking Diet Coke. Don't judge. Okay. And again, when it comes to judgment, it's impossible in this world to not judge people. Don't judge anybody. It's impossible in this world to not judge. We all judge. The ultimate judgment comes from God, but we're all going to judge. Don't sit here, people like Madonna telling you, nobody can judge me for what I do. This is freedom. All right? Freedom of speech, freedom of beliefs. People like Madonna saying that and then dancing with a crucifix burning behind her, mocking Jesus. Just like a prayer, it's all about sex. Or like a virgin, it's all about sex. Promoting sex. But don't judge her. All right? She's free to say whatever she wants. Oh, well, we're not, are we? If it was, I won't get my videos demonetized every time, would I, YouTube? If it was freedom of speech. But these celebrities can say what they want, no repercussions. Because they're pushing Satan's agendas. For example, guys, let's say you're watching a documentary that gives you some new beliefs about the ethics of fast fashion, for example. You didn't really think about it much before, but if you continue to make the same clothing choices, you'll feel some cognitive dissonance. If you watch a documentary about how they make chicken nuggets, and then the day after, you're eating chicken nuggets, or you're eating chicken nuggets whilst you're watching it, watch the video that shows you how they make chicken nuggets. Now imagine watching it whilst eating chicken nuggets. I bet you most people would watch the process of how the chicken nuggets are made, but they're enjoying those chicken nuggets, dipping it in the sweet chili salsa or barbecue. They'll continue to eat the chicken nuggets because they'll all day put their pleasure above the actual process of how the chicken nuggets are being made and how the chickens are tortured. Because no, the chicken nuggets, I paid for them, they're nice, or maybe this will be the last time I eat them. Again, anytime you throw in maybe before anything, pretty certain that you're not going to act on it. Well, maybe this will be the last time I have a cigarette. No, it won't. No, it won't. When you're using terms like maybe, that's why when people say, hey, do you want to go out tonight? And you say maybe, well, is it 90% of the time you don't go out? When you use that term maybe, you may as well just say absolutely not. You may as well just say absolutely not when you use the term maybe. And again, a lot of people use maybe because they don't have the brain to commit to a decision. So by saying maybe, it takes the pressure off them because they're not intelligent enough to come to a decision. So they maybe, I don't know. I'll let you know. So new information is huge when it comes to cognitive dissonance. In today's world, we're inundated with information. Go to Google, find whatever you want. Again, are people going to Google to research the universe and to be intellectually stimulated? Are they going to Google to watch silly YouTube videos, to post, to watch whatever videos that they do on Instagram? Are they going there to be stimulated with information? Or are they going there just to be stimulated? Very different. So one 30-second social media video can totally shift our perspective. One short video can be so impactful that it can literally change your whole worldviews. It's one of the reasons why I do my videos. Maybe I did that video today about the crash in NASCAR. Maybe somebody's whole world's just changed now and they've questioned the whole reality because of that 4-minute video. When I do 2-hour live streams, how many people are watching them? 100 people? They can't sit through freaking 2 minutes anymore. You give someone a 2-minute video on Instagram to watch, they don't get through it. That's why they brought out Vine's 6-second videos. Even them people can't get through them. That's by design, guys. Because if you don't have an attention span, you're not going to be able to process information. And that's the whole goal of keeping you in a state of zombie mode. So, again, new information can lead to cognitive dissonance. For example, well, I've given you a few examples, Anna, with the clothing, with the chicken nuggets. Well, maybe what I'm doing, I'm saying professional sports are coded rituals, all right, and that man's not behind the outcomes. Now, after watching that and your whole life, you've watched it and been entertained by it and think it was all organic, that's going to really play with your head. So you're going to snap at me like most people do. And then you're going to eventually get over the cognitive dissonance and go on my website like most of you do. I bet a lot of you in the chat, when you first watched my videos, you thought I was nuts and crazy. You don't anymore, do you? The stuff I was saying about male to female, female to male, is crazy as nuts. Most of you don't anymore. No, you're seeing it. You're seeing what's going on in the world. I was right years ago. And now it's there. Your next door neighbor. All right? Your local policeman. They're now becoming all of this, and it's been accepted. I was saying it 2 years ago. And addiction, guys. As I mentioned earlier, many people know that smoking's harmful, drinking's harmful, drugs are harmful, whatever it may be. Or unprotected sex could lead to sexually transmitted diseases or making somebody pregnant. It doesn't stop people from doing it. It often is a result of getting drunk prior to those actions happening, because sin follows sin follows sin. That's how it works. Think about like the average Saturday night for, let's say, a 21-year-old guy. Get up, probably have let's talk about England. Get up, go have a full English breakfast. Terrible for the health. Go watch football and gamble on it. Terrible. All right, start drinking, day drinking. Keep drinking, pint after pint, shot. Terrible. All right, you start getting horny, you start lusting after girls who are also getting horny and lusting after guys. The main reason most guys and girls go out at that age is to have sex. And if they deny that, they're lying. Well, it's for the music. Well, why didn't you stay at home and dance then? All right, why did you dress the way that you dressed? If it's just the music, why are you wearing high heels if you want to dance? Why are your titties hanging out? No, it ain't. You went out for sex. Guys, you went out for sex. And then you get a girl and you're both completely drunk. You go back to their house. You have unprotected sex. Boom. Wow, I've got sexually transmitted disease. Oh my God, she's pregnant. So it just builds. Sin slowly builds. And then we don't take responsibility for it. And we keep repeating these negative actions, which is insane when you think about it. To be fully consciously aware that the actions that you're performing are having a negative impact on your life, yet you continually do them day after day after day. What's that all about? So addiction creates a chemical dependency, all right, on a substance. And you've got the dopamine going all around your body. It could be nicotine or sugar. And that's really hard to break, those addictions. It's hard to break an addiction. But it's not impossible either. And I do believe when you have these addictions, you've got to ask God for guidance and to help get you through it. Because as a man, you're just a man. You're just a man. The devil will devour you if you think that you're going to take him on by yourself without the help of God. So Again, cognitive dissonance, it's a state of discomfort. It's unpleasant. All right. Living out of integrity with our value begins to take its toll on our psychological well-being and mental health. So people are now committing in more and more negative acts, which is leading to more and more mental health issues. And I do believe in mental health. I do believe it's a real thing. I know why. It's spiritual wickedness. It's because we're not designed to live these pathetic lifestyles that most of us live. Work 9 till 5, get stuck in traffic, get home, probably have some shitty food, watch TV or the news, go to bed and repeat it, and then get pissed on a weekend, watch sports and repeat it until we're 70 years old. Then we sat on our chair thinking, what was life really all about? Waiting to die in many cases for a lot of people at that age. And they're lonely. And that's what you think God created, for us to live a life like that? Really? Not at all. So I could go on all day about this. Cognitive bias, guys, is huge. It's the tendency to process information in the light of our own experiences. So you believe your truth is the truth. All right. And I'm guilty of that. I believe that the work that I do is undeniable and incredible. And that's my cognitive bias. And if you don't accept it, you ain't smart, you ain't intelligent, you're in denial, you're spiritually blind. That's what I tell myself. That's cognitive bias. Because our brains rely on patterns, past experiences, and mental shortcuts to process information quickly. If I have a certain view of the world, if you disagree with it, I'm going to tell you you're wrong because of my ego. So we take in this new information, but we don't interpret it objectively. So if you send one of my videos to your best mate and say, watch, this guy is unbelievable, he said all of this, he says professional sports are coded and they're rigged. Straight away, they're going to say, if they're diehard football fans, this guy's nuts. I ain't watching that shit. They've already made the decision about my work before watching it. And we've all done that. We have made a decision about something before actually participating in it. Do you know how many people told me not to move to Mexico because I would get kidnapped by the cartel? And they'd never been to Mexico. But when I say that to them, they get angry. I say, have you ever been? No. What do you mean? Why are you asking me that? Well, how do you know? Mexico's as bad as you say it is. You've never been. You always got an answer, Adam, haven't you, you smart ass? Why are you shouting at me? Have you ever been to Mexico? I couldn't keep my mouth shut after. Have you ever been to Mexico? Have you ever been kidnapped in Mexico? That's not the point. So you watched it on TV then? Is that where you're getting your information from? If you keep going, Adam, I'll smack you. What? I'm telling you, Edders, if you keep going on with this big mouth of yours, I'll smack you. Eh? What? The amount of times I got in arguments with people over things like that because I questioned their information. I got thrown out of classes as a kid. For questioning the teachers. History was the class that they threw me out of every freaking week. How do we know this happened? What it tells us there. I was like, that don't mean it happened, does it? Get out. What? Get out. And then I'd laugh. Are you laughing? All right, that's an extra day detention for you. Yeah, I am laughing. Oh, now you're answering back? Yeah. Yeah, I am. If there's anyone in the chat from my school, you know what I'm talking about. Judge righteously, I agree, Johnny. We all judge, guys. Most people don't judge themselves or their actions, but they love to judge everybody else's. Just like coders, constantly judging everyone else's codes when they're like 40% for the month. They'll judge everyone else's codes. Why don't you look at your own? Judge mine, who goes 80% every month. Still find judgment. You'll still have a go and not focus on yourself. Fat people judging other people's weight. All right? We see it all the time. People constantly judging other people and not doing anything to help themselves. So I'm going to go. I've got one more live, probably tomorrow. Jesus is the way and the truth and the life. Yep. Very few people will ever accept that. But that's why the path to heaven is narrow. It tells us in the Bible. It's not for everybody. Heaven's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. And not many people are going to get there. I'm not even saying I'm getting there. I don't know. I think I'm on the right path. When I look around at everybody else and the way that they perceive the world and how they don't believe in God and they don't question their reality and they don't believe in the devil and they do as they're told, like good little slaves, I believe I'm on the right path. But all I'm doing is, again, maybe that's cognitive bias, guys. So how do you reduce this cognitive dissonance? You've got to check in with your feelings. You've got to pray. You've got to be aware of it. All right. When you start to feel a little tension in your stomach, all right, you know something's not right. Sit down and try and process what it is. You don't get that feeling for nothing. But the problem is within this system, within the life that we live, you hardly have time for yourself. And when you do, you're so tired that you just want to sit down and watch TV or scroll through Instagram because you're exhausted. You don't want to work 8 hours, be knackered, and then stimulate your brain. Most people can't do it. They don't have the ability to do it. Also, don't run away from your problems. Face everything and rise, not fear everything and run. Don't run away. You'll eventually get caught. The problems will catch you. All right? However fast you are. You've got to know the issues, and then you've got to determine what you want to change. You can start forgiving yourself. You're not perfect. None of us are. Speak with your friend. Speak with your spouse. Speak with your parents. All right? Speak with God. Don't be embarrassed. Be proud that you've seen the issues in your life, that you want to do something positive about them. But again, don't be half-assed with it. Don't be half-assed with it, but every little helps. I do believe in that saying of every little helps. All right? If you are extremely overweight, if you do cut out chocolate and you do start drinking more water and you go for a 5-minute walk every day, all right, is it going to have a major impact on your weight? No. Does it help? Yeah. Is it going to get you a six-pack? No. So there you go. I wanted to do this for you. Just be aware, guys. However you see the world, not everyone's going to see the world the way you see it. Don't let that frustrate you because it happens to me and it's still happening to me and I've got to work on it. I have to be fully aware that nearly everyone in the world is not going to comprehend my work. I am speaking a foreign language to 99% of the world. I see the world differently to 99% of the world. I have a gift at this point, which is quite easily 1 in a million. So how am I going to expect everybody to process it? If there was an illusion guy like me 3 years ago and somebody sent me the video of the illusion talking the way I talk now, I would have dismissed it in an instant and said, that guy's nuts. I wouldn't have accepted what he was saying because it would have shattered my illusion and shattered my worldview. And then I would have believed my whole life was a lie. And that's the issue. Justifying the lie. Justifying the lie. I'm off. I'll do one more live tomorrow, then I'm off for a month. If you want to see my work, I do the most incredible work daily on my website. Pay $10. Give it a go in June. If you're not willing to invest in knowledge, in wisdom, then don't expect me to be here every day live giving you it. Because it ain't going to happen going forward. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope something clicked with you. I need to go get ready now because I'm coaching in about an hour and a half, but I'm going to go get ready and then do a bit more of my book. Then I'm going to go coach. God wins. You want to be on his side because if you're not, you're on the devil's. Simple as that. If you're not on God's team, you're on the devil's. That's one of the few times I'll say it's black and white. Cheers, guys. Can we get a woo? Okay, Noel. Woo! Cheers, guys.